Before we begin, imagine this. Somewhere in the universe right now, there might be a civilization so advanced that they can control the energy of an entire star, or an entire galaxy, or something even bigger, something we don't yet have words for. But here's the twist. Humanity, with all its skyscrapers and supercomputers and space missions, isn't anywhere near that level. We aren't even at the first step. And that's what makes the Kardashev Scale so fascinating. It doesn't measure wealth territory or technology. It measures something much deeper. How much of the universe a civilization can command. From harnessing the power of a planet, to harvesting the energy of a star, to shaping the flow of light across an entire galaxy. This scale gives us a glimpse into what intelligence might look like on a cosmic timeline. So today, let's explore what it truly means to grow from a civilization like ours, fragile, chaotic, and ambitious, into something that could one day shine across the stars. Imagine measuring the greatness of a civilization, not by its monuments, not by its culture, not by its art weapons or empires, but simply by the amount of energy it can control. Because energy is the fundamental currency of the universe. Stars burn it, planets store it, life consumes it. And civilizations, any civilization, grow by learning how to harvest more of it. Now imagine a scale that measures this growth. Not from rich to poor, not from ancient to modern, but from planetary to stellar to galactic. A scale that tells us not who we are, but what we might become. This idea is called the Kardashev Scale, and it doesn't describe human history, it describes human potential. It answers a simple question. How powerful could a civilization truly become if it learned to harness all the energy available to it? Let's explore this scale together. Not as science fiction, not as fantasy, but as a roadmap of possibility from where humanity is right now to what we might one day look like among the stars. We begin with something surprising. Humanity, the species that built skyscrapers, particle accelerators, and spacecraft, isn't even on the scale yet. We are Type 0. Type 0, for now, humanity is not even on the scale. A Type 0 civilization controls only a fraction of the energy available on its home planet. That means us. Right now, we burn fossil fuels. Split atoms, capture small slices of sunlight, catch the wind when we can. We use energy brilliantly, but we don't control it. Not even close. We cannot stop hurricanes. We cannot prevent earthquakes. We cannot redirect ocean currents or stabilize the climate. We live with nature, sometimes harnessing it, often suffering from it. Physicist Carl Sagan once estimated that humanity sits around 0.72 on the Kardashev scale. Closer to 1 than 0, yes, but not enough to claim the title of a planetary civilization. We're still vulnerable. A single supervolcano asteroid strike or solar flare could set us back centuries. A global energy disruption could collapse our infrastructure in days. In Type 0, a civilization has brilliance, but not control. Knowledge, but not mastery. Potential, but not durability. But if we continue to advance, if we survive long enough, if we learn cooperation over destruction, then we may rise to the first true level. Type Y, a civilization that commands its entire planet. Type 1, planetary civilization. A Type 1 civilization is sometimes called a planetary civilization. Not because it lives on a planet, but because it rules one. It can use every watt of energy available on its homeworld, from oceans, storms, sunlight, and the planet's own internal heat. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine weather being something we manage, not endure. Hurricanes dispersed before they form. Cloud cover adjusted to cool overheated regions. Rainfall directed away from flood zones and toward dry farmland. Imagine earthquakes predicted days in advance. Volcanoes monitored with such precision that eruptions cause no casualties. Imagine geothermal power extracted safely, cleanly, endlessly. A Type 1 civilization has mastery over the natural systems of its planet, not by overpowering nature, but by integrating with it, understanding its rhythms, predicting its behaviors, channeling its forces. The energy output of Type 1 is colossal, about 1016 watts, thousands of times more than we produce today. Global problems become engineering puzzles. Resource scarcity becomes an outdated concept. The planet becomes a coordinated, monitored, optimized system. Humanity would enter a new era if we reach Type 1. But the journey is dangerous. Many civilizations theoretically never get past this stage. They destroy themselves with the very technologies that make Type 1 possible: nuclear weapons, climate disruption, runaway artificial intelligence. We have the tools to reach Type 1. We must decide whether we have the maturity. If we succeed, the next step is not planetary, but stellar. Type 2, stellar civilization. A Type 2 civilization doesn't just control its planet, it controls its star, not metaphorically, literally. It captures the full energy output of its parent star, an amount of power nearly impossible to comprehend. This is where legendary megastructures come into play, especially the concept often used as a symbol of advanced civilizations, the Dyson Sphere. Although the term sphere is popular, the more realistic variant is the Dyson swarm, billions of satellites orbiting the star, each collecting solar energy and transmitting it to the civilization. Instead of using solar panels on a roof, they would use solar panels around the sun. To understand the scale, consider this. The sun produces 10 billion times more energy than humanity currently uses. A Type 2 civilization could access all of it. With this power, their technology becomes almost indistinguishable from magic. Interplanetary travel becomes routine. Terraforming planets, modifying atmospheres, temperatures, or entire ecosystems becomes feasible. Mega-scale engineering projects, the size of moons or planets, become realistic. They could build artificial habitats, star-lifting facilities, or controlled fusion engines on an unimaginable scale. A Type 2 species would no longer worry about energy scarcity. They would worry about how to use an abundance so large that it reshapes their biology, their culture, and their very concept of existence. Such civilizations, if they exist in the galaxy, would be visible. Their Dyson structures would block or alter the light of stars. Astronomers on Earth search for these anomalies even today. But a Type 2 species would likely not stop there. Because once they control a star, the next logical frontier becomes everything around that star, an entire galaxy. Type 3, galactic civilization. A Type 3 civilization controls the energy of an entire galaxy, hundreds of billions of stars. This is not a culture, not a nation, not even a species. It is a galactic force as far beyond Type 2 as an ocean is beyond a raindrop. A Type 3 species could harvest energy from neutron stars, black hole accretion disks, and the swirling gravitational storms that inhabit the centers of galaxies. They would travel through interstellar space with ease. They might spread across thousands of star systems, or merge into a single distributed intelligence. Their engineering would operate on a cosmic scale. They might rearrange stars, stabilize galactic structures, or harness dark matter as energy. Their scientific knowledge would answer questions our physics hasn't even learned to ask yet. A Type 3 civilization might look at a galaxy the way we look at a city, something to navigate, to cultivate, to learn from. The energy output is unimaginable, 1036 watts. Enough power to fold space, manipulate time, or transcend the limitations of biology itself. If such civilizations exist, they would be nearly impossible to hide. They would reshape their galaxy's light signature. They might create gravitational patterns detectable across the cosmos. Some scientists wonder whether the great cosmic silence, the Fermi paradox, might mean one of two things. Either Type 3 civilizations are extremely rare, or so advanced that we wouldn't even recognize them. Beyond Type 3, theoretical civilizations. The Kardashev Scale officially ends at Type 3. But thinkers have imagined what might lie beyond. Type IV would control the energy of the entire universe, manipulating stars, black holes, and the cosmic background itself. Type V would extend across multiple universes, mastering the laws of the multiverse. Type VI would control reality at its most fundamental level, the architecture of space-time quantum fields, and perhaps even consciousness itself. These levels are speculative, perhaps unreachable, and possibly meaningless if physics forbids them. But their purpose is not prediction. Their purpose is imagination. Why the Kardashev scale matters. So why talk about any of this? Why imagine Dyson swarms, galactic empires, and multiversal civilizations when humanity still argues about electricity grids, climate change, and how to charge phones faster? Because the Kardashev scale is not just a measure of energy. It is a measure of perspective. It forces us to look at civilization as something that evolves. Not year to year, not empire to empire, but star to star, galaxy to galaxy. It asks us the most important question a species can ask. What do we want to become? Do we aim for Type 1, cooperating to manage a planet? Do we dare to reach Type 2, expanding across our solar system? Do we hope to touch Type 3, becoming a force in the galaxy? Or do we remain Type 0, brilliant, creative, powerful, but fragile? The path to Type 1 requires something no technology can provide for us. Wisdom, cooperation, humility in the face of nature, maturity in the face of power. A civilization that reaches Type 1 must learn to survive itself. A civilization that reaches Type 2 must learn to transcend its origins. A civilization that reaches Type 3 must learn to unite across worlds. This scale, in the end, is less about energy and more about destiny. Because somewhere out there, perhaps, right now, another civilization may be asking the same question. We are asking at this moment, how far can intelligence go? How large can a mind become? How bright can a civilization shine against the darkness of space? The Kardashev scale doesn't just describe the universe. It describes us, our limits, our possibilities, our future. And as long as we continue to create, explore, and imagine, as long as we choose growth instead of destruction, as long as we cherish knowledge more than power, then perhaps one day humanity will rise from Type 0 to something extraordinary. Not because we conquered the universe, but because we learned to understand it. If there's one thing the Kardashev scale teaches us, it's this: civilization isn't just about technology. It's about perspective, about seeing ourselves not as isolated nations or temporary empires, but as a species with a future far larger than our past. Type I asks us to master our planet, not dominate it, but understand it. Type 2 challenges us to think beyond Earth, to imagine life shaped by the energy of a star. And Type 3 reminds us that somewhere out there in the silence of the galaxy, there may exist forms of intelligence so powerful they could rearrange the night sky itself. Humanity is still young, still learning, still stumbling. But the universe is patient. And as long as we continue to imagine, explore, and push our boundaries, we haven't reached our limit. The journey from Type 0 to Type 1 may be the hardest step we ever take. But it is also the step that decides our future, whether we remain confined to one fragile planet or grow into a civilization worthy of the stars. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious, stay humble, and keep looking upward.